Hello there. Hello. Here is some unprofessional activity advice. Now, firstly, let me say I am not a professional with gardening or anything of the sort, but I love to do it. As a Guyanese, of course, I grew up around a lot of, greenery, naturally. Get it? Nature, naturally. Anyhow, and my grandmother always had a lot of plants, so I love them. And recently I've had a bit more time on my hands. I have summer break from school, so I started getting a lot more into it. I also have self-diagnosed seasonal affective disorder, so plants make me happy on those dreary days. For my life coaching brand, because obviously, yes, I know this is on my life coaching page. For my personal life coaching brand, you will see sporadically these planting videos, exercise videos, and cooking videos, because for my brand, environmental and health matters are very important, and I want them to remain a large part of the narrative for unprofessional advice. So what I'm going to show you are just my ways. There's a lot going on in the world right now. The Black Lives Matter movement, which I am very vocal about, and today I'm giving myself a mental break and planting a few more seeds, and I'm going to show you what I do. I use recyclable materials for everything. I love recycling, even when I don't know what I'm going to do with something yet. So like this, I bought this for example, and I bought flowers, and this came on the stems, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it just yet, but I kept it nonetheless. So there's going to be a picture of what we're going to be using today, so I'm going to beep. Okay, so I should have just had a photo of the thing that I'm talking about. So I'm using these plastic bottles to cut and to plant with first. So we're going to do the plastic bottles first. Super simple. I hope that you pause the video and went to get all the stuff you would need. Now, usually for these, I would stab with a knife and cut around, but that is not safe. So I am going to go ahead and do a safer version. So I snip away, because these have no dents in them, I have to find like the perfect spot so it doesn't fall in. And I am going to say it's about here. Now let's see if we accomplish. Yep. Doesn't fall in. That is wonderful. All right. Okay, so this is super simple. For it though, you definitely are going to need the cover of the bottle. So I have a cover right here. This was a okra seed I had soaking. So I'm gonna just take this out and use the cover, throw this extra water in one of my plants. All right. So we cover. This is where the wine opener comes in. See what we got here? Bring it closer. There we go. Okie doke. Drop that in. Now, I am using this potting mix, sorry. I found out that that's very important. I don't know how I got it right the first time, but it's important that if you're doing indoor planting, it's important. Oops, so many vehicles are passing. Pardon me for the noise. My gardening room, also the cat's room, is near the road. Okay. So potting mix. If you're planting indoors, it's important that you get potting mix and not potting soil, because it is too thick. This is Miracle Grow. For people in the Caribbean, I'm sure we can find this somewhere. And in the US, for the US, I got this for $5 with tax, additional tax, and shipping from Home Depot. Okay. So like I said, I recycle everything. So I have my dip my dipping equipment here. It's a spoon. Bring this closer. All right, so make just a tad bit. Now I don't wear gloves because I just like getting my hands dirty. So the packet recommends about 3/4 of an inch down. So you make like a little hole, not too much. You put that in there, you cover it. Now when that's covered, it doesn't give you 3/4 of an inch. So you add a bit more zits. You press this right here. All right. And then we water, and also this is my watering bottle, not can, recycle always. So you send that through. Let it swallow that. The good thing about this is you can see, you will see when the water comes down, and that's the point of the holes in the bottom, your drainage. It's all going to fall down. And it's important that if you are going to do this, that you keep this empty, because I believe that you don't want the moisture unless you put stones at the bottom of this, and stones absorb the water and it evaporates back up. And that is somewhat of a self-watering system. Okay. Some people say you let it run through 3 times first. I don't know about all that, because I don't want to drown it. Really depends. Like I did this one. Whoops. This is actually, this is not the one I meant to grab it. This is a paella pepper. It's a word that I have not learned to pronounce properly yet. But it's nice. I actually propagated this from a plant that I already had. Right. But this, earlier I planted this, and you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but there's not really any water at the bottom. So I'm going to give it some more water. Usually that's what I do. I give it enough, like that I think should get it going, and then I check back like an hour later, and if there's no water at the bottom, I give it some more. So I'm actually gonna get this some more. Let it drain that up, and you just put that to the side, and we focus on the one we're doing. And let it drink that up. And you can also see to the sides like how it runs down. I'm actually gonna get this some more. Alright. Soil came up. Now some of my soil came up, like turned over. So there we go. Again, I'm not a professional. We're doing this together as amateurs. So there we go. This is my okra seed planted, and we'll check back with it. Oh, this definitely has enough water. See, it came down. Wonderful. Okay, next thing we are going to do, my favorite, is a glass jar, because my husband is an absolute salsa addict. So I have a lot of these. Again, I don't throw anything away, so I've just had a lot of them. And initially it was for me to make some sauces, because I like to cook, but this was good enough. Okay. So we're gonna put stones in. So the stones that I am using are just some stuff that they're called river rocks. So again, these absorb the water and they send them up. So we're putting these at the bottom of the jar for drainage, and I'll show you what these look like later, because most of the plants that I have right now are in jars. Well, all the ones I've done myself. So we're gonna put about, let's say an inch, or you want like an inch, but you definitely don't want more than an inch. That should be good. All right, and just like that, you're good to go. That's your drainage system. And technically somewhat of a self-watering system. Bell peppers. I love bell peppers. I don't know, I didn't have, when I was purchasing, I was very excited to like just get it going, and I got these, but I would have loved to also plant from seeds. that from what I have at home because I use bell peppers a lot, but that is okay. All right, so these, I'm just gonna tear these open. Now, mind you, I've also looked at tutorials online, but I'm doing these for amateurs like myself and just people who follow me for life coaching as well and just want to have something to take their mind off of what's going on that keeps them occupied, that's also helping the earth essentially, and could provide them food. It's wonderful. All right, so I'm gonna put a hole right there. Now, you see, this is where it gets tricky because the packet recommends 1/4 of an inch depth. However, online, people put it deeper. I am going to do it about there. Yeah, that should be good. I'm gonna spread them just a tad bit. All right, should I do this here? I'm gonna do a third. I'm gonna keep everyone posted with allyou. So subscribe so that we can see what become of these. But so far, I can definitely say I've been a good plant mom. I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna keep them in the middle so that when I'm transplanting them, it's not going to be too difficult and coming out from the sides or just random parts. All right, I'm gonna water. Drink it up, drink it up. The same thing also goes for this. You get to see the water at the bottom, which is awesome sauce, and you get to see that it evaporates as well. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. I'm just gonna drink this up. All right, looks like we're swallowed. Okay, gonna put that to the side. The next thing, and this one is very new to me. I haven't even seen it online. I'm not promoting the brand. That's not what's happening here, but Trader Joe's is the truth, okay? So I haven't seen anyone do this. So it's gonna be the first time I'm trying it as well. I just feel like I was putting this in recycling. I just felt like there was something I could do with it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna plant something in it. Obviously something that I will eventually have to transplant because I don't think a plant could survive in this for too long. But at least we could like get it to germinate in here. So these type of containers already have holes to the side, which is wonderful. So that's sort of like an automatic, you know, drainage situation going on. However, I still feel as though it might need some holes to the like just center area. So for that reason, I'm going to put just a few in there. Now let's see, I hope it's not too thin. Or too strong. Whoopsie, not getting those. That's not happening. Again, this is my first time giving it a go. I wonder if I do it like so, if it'll make a difference. If anyone didn't know before, these containers are very strong. Okay. I hope it still takes its shape after all this. There's an easier way to do this if I do it with this. There we go, I got like a rip essentially, but I'll take it. I will take it. Now you're all watching me struggle with this. Let's try this right here. Just gonna clip a triangle. So we have just a few holes to the bottom, and those should be more than enough. I'm using this, cucumbers are on these are compostable, and I'm presuming that they too, because it's paper essentially, can absorb water, and it would hopefully evaporate back up through the container, the plants. We'll find out. Oh, you know what? Figuring it out together. We're figuring it out together. Oh wait, this might not work. I was thinking if I could use this for something else and put this on here. Yes. Wait, no. Because I'm concerned if it'll splash through. No, I think this might work. No, it's fine. Because the contain wherever I'm going to have it, I don't know if I want it to get wet. Okay, I feel like that's a good enough bed. And what we're planting in here today are grape tomatoes. So I kept this bright coat to show you what it looked like. Like I just washed out some that were like not looking too good on the outside, and I had in like a container of produce that I usually drop off to a neighborhood garden. But I squeezed them out and I got these seeds. This is coffee filter, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like. So I'm going to scrape these out and then spread them across the bed we've created here. All right, there we go. I like to be thorough, but I think this is just going to be too tedious of a thing. I think we got enough. So right, we can put this to the side. Spread them as much as we can. Not every one of these are going to make it, and that's fine. I have another spoon here. Okay, so then we cover, of course. And there we have it. Our tomato seeds, our grape tomato seeds are planted. They're gonna fall in this, and I will keep you posted on how these go. Of course, please subscribe, like this, subscribe, and let me know what you think. That's the first timer. I've shown you what my propagated, sorry, the noise of the vehicle. The propagated pilea pepperoni. My husband said pepperoni. Funnily enough, I was reading and someone's husband called it pepperoni, and then I was telling my husband about it, and he also just referred to the word as pepperoni. And I had cut this wrong initially, and I had to do this situation because I cut it too short first and it would have fallen in. But I think it looks pretty. Anyhow. So I'm going to show you what my jar plants have looked like so far. So I want you to know that things grow differently. This is a wildflower planted from seed. So it's growing, you can see flowers are gonna be pretty, so wonderful. I feel like it's been about 22 days since I planted these. I feel like, yes. Because today's the 8th and I think planted on the 16th, right? Anyhow. So I want you to know that your plants are not going to all be perfect, and that is all right. So this is one that is growing very slowly. It's like I sprinkled. This is parsley, by the way, and I sprinkled, and it's like some is growing here, there, and everywhere. Then this one is growing like most slow as well. So this was growing very spaced out. This is growing slowly. This one, or let me put a close up, growing very slowly, growing spaced out. This one, half of the jar grew. I'm not certain why, but that's all right. That's all right. And this baby right here is doing wonderfully. This is my favorite jar. Don't tell the others. So this is growing wonderfully, and it makes me so very happy. So I want you to know, so these were both planted on the same day. You can see the wildflower growing compared to the parsley. So it's important that we know that some plants are gonna grow at different rates, and some are altogether gonna grow in different ways as well. All right, and beneath you can see the root system in the plant actually. Ooh, there's a protest outside, which is wonderful. Can you see the root system? There's a protest going on outside and it makes me so happy. All right, so I need to go downstairs to cheer for the protesters. So for my plants, like I mentioned, I watch them drain, and the stones essentially, like, they evaporate the water back up. So I feel like I usually water these about every 3 days. I'm going to say every 3 days, and every other week I do plant food, but I've only just started plant food last week, and I'm not gonna do it again until next week. And my plant food is in here. Just look at the bottom to see if all the water that you had put in it is gone, that it had evaporated, and you should be good to go. Once you see it looks very dry, that means it needs some more water. Same thing with this. I empty it out. Once it looks really dry, I water it. So for my larger plants, I usually do the finger test where I stick my finger in to see if the soil is still moist, but that's obviously not very possible here. So for the first few days, while you still have that chance, you can just like touch the top to make sure it's still moist. I keep my parsley by, I think I saw somewhere that they're not good with light or sunlight, but nonetheless, I keep these, like, I have a cage, a protruding cage from my windows, and I keep them in bright sunlight. It's the summertime now, so they're in bright sunlight. As with this, and I am more than likely going to do the same with these. Keep them in bright sunlight and see how that goes. And the sunlight also is perfect because it helps with keeping it, evaporating. Now I have 2 of these, so I'm actually going to put some of these stones I have that came with the system my husband got me to the bottom of these, and I am going to give a test of how this particular self-watering system works, and I'll let you know about that. All right, that should be enough, and let's see, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so those are my tips. Let your plant, like, I watered these today and they're leaning a bit to the side because of the water, like, sending them, but they're gonna shoot back up. I think definitely there are people on YouTube who are professionals. So if your plant is going through any sort of struggle when you're starting it, just go ahead and see what one of them are saying. Or even ask me, maybe I know a thing or two as well from having done this for 22 days. And I also have other plants. I've had a pothos for much longer, but yeah, I'm gonna do another video with my plants, my other household plants at some point. So again, thank you for watching this. This was unprofessional activity advice. I really feel like this could help, make you feel better, occupy your mind, and of course you're giving yourself food potentially, and also just planting new green on the earth. Well, in your house, but you get it. So thank you, please like and subscribe, and anyone with tips or advice, let me know. I am completely open to it. I hope that this is an activity that you take up, because it really does make you feel good to see that you started something out like this and it becomes this. Progress. Seeing progress in things that you're doing that aren't necessarily a direct part of you also make you feel good. So when you're taking up activities, try to take up activities that bring you a sense of progress. All right? Thank you, and God bless.